Hey YouTube, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're going to talk about some snakes that we've been moving around. That's because they're growing. Now, we did a video on this not that long ago, and that was where we moved a lot of things from the FB40s up to the FB70s. Well, hey, at the same time, right after, we actually moved a lot of things from FB20s up to FB40s, and everything kind of just moves up, right? So we wanted to cover this video showing what has moved into the FB40s. It'll probably take us 2 videos to get to all these so we can give each snake some time and attention. What you're going to see is just our snakes growing, kind of what size we do move them. You know, some of these can move back if we wanted them to. This will kind of give you an idea of when we do that. It'll also give you a chance to see some of the snakes that maybe you remember, maybe you don't remember how they look, how they're growing, what we're going to be breeding in the future, obviously, because these are growing animals, correct? So without further ado, let's get started, and we're going to start with one of the Captain Pissy Pants ones. Hey, you. No, be good. And that is this girl right here. Now, she is pretty much ready to go. She's been packing on weight, so she was a really crappy eater for us for a very long time. When we first got her, she ate awesome. I know. Knock that off. You know what? I'm going to get a tool for you because I can just see how this is going to go. And there's no point in you getting too angry or anybody else having a bad day. So, she ate really good for us at first, and then she slowed down. I'm going to push her towards you a little bit, Kurt. That way, if she does launch, she doesn't launch off the table. I've seen you do that. Not you, but other snakes. So she was a great eater for us right out of the gate. Just pounded food. Boom, 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 boom. And then this snake shut down, and no matter what we did, she was not having it for the longest time. And then she went back to pounding food. And as you can see now, she is certainly reaching that size of being ready. She's taken those rats right in between the smallish, medium size. And what she is a pastel freeway. So a lot of things going on with her. We do have some awesome plans for her to recreate this along with an extra kicker gene to even take this a step further. So do look for these in the future from Olympus Reptiles. Hopefully the ones we produce come with a little less attitude than this one. And she's kind of always had that attitude. You're okay. You're okay. All we're doing is trying to do a touch to redirect. Oh, we can pick her up. And again, if you take a snake and you handle all the time, it's going to be a lot easier to handle than what ours are. But since we don't do that, because it's a breed issue, then not an issue, it doesn't hurt them, but we're working them. You know, I'm not so worried if they like me. Like, I want them to be healthy. That's what I care about, not how bonded we are as far as they like to be handled, and I can really care less. So this next snake is one we produced in-house. This is one of my favorite animals that I've ever made. Sorry. I kind of had one of those days where I'm on a lot of over-the-counter pain meds. Those days happen, right? So this is our girl. We produced her in 2019, so she's not very old. She's growing really well for her size. As long as she's sitting all nice, maybe I can get her to go onto a scale for you so you can see with us kind of how she's doing. She will not be breeding this season. She's not that size yet. But if she continues down her path, she will certainly be ready next year. As you can see, still way too small. But you're talking a baby that's just 1 year old, maybe 18 months. She is doing awesome, and she's eating good sized food. So what she is we believe her to be a banana black pastel blitz calico. Where do I see all that at? Okay, well, let's kind of go over that because when you get this all mixed in here, it can be very difficult to identify what you're looking at. And hey, we could be wrong. Once she's spotting up a lot, that leads us to the black pastel. So the way so much more purple, that's also a black pastel thing. And then if you start looking in the pattern, it doesn't have the traditional black pastel keyholes. They're starting to try to twist in there and do funky stuff. That is reminiscent of the blitz. And then the calico comes in on the tail. You see how crazy that tail pattern is and all that flaming? Well, let me show you something else that happens with these, because I'm going to have to go back into my Wayback Machine here and show you her mother so you get an idea of where we're seeing how that blitz and calico interact. And you're going to really see it in this snake here, this being mom, which is a calico blitz. So when you look at those two together, you see the similarities, but obviously you see a lot more changes. Oh my goodness, girl. You are so crazy today. On her with the black pastel showing up, and then the banana's pretty obvious. But that is kind of where we're getting that. You also can tell there's more genes going on than just calico and blitz, because look at this striping. You're not getting that here. But I do think that is part of all those playing together. There you go. So anyway, one of my favorites. Now her head's coming out. You can kind of see. Hopefully, and the weird thing too is, the camera's going to pick it up, but if you look at her neck here, how dark that purple is versus how not dark it is here. She actually is darker in the front and lighter in the back. Very, very strange looking snake, but just awesome all told. I'll give you an idea of how far that darkness goes. It stays dark until it starts getting to flaming. Then it's like if the whole thing is washed out. So really a strange looking animal. I can't wait to breed with her to find out if in fact all 4 genes are there. But regardless, one of the funkiest animals I think we've ever made here at Olympus. So I'm really excited about that. So next up is going to be this little pistol, which I think is in shed at the moment. It is in shed. This is one of our Florida snakes. So it is in shed right now. It's, believe it or not, kind of looking its worst. And what this is a pastel desert ghost. So the really cool thing with desert ghosts is it just gets better and better and better and better as it ages. It continues to improve upon itself. So this thing is just really a simple combination. One recessive, one incomplete dominant. And I mean, look at it. And that's a snake in shed. I mean, it's just phenomenal looking animal. It's been eating wonderful for us. Again, this is one that will not be breeding this season, but honestly is not that far away. What's that? Oh, I gotta flip it around. I made it mad. Maybe. See, this is why we can't have nice things. There we go. Because I'm hard on them. And I've tried to be nice to this. And you can see she's about the same size, but she's also a very young snake that's just doing wonderful for us. So I'll go ahead and put her back there. Of course, there's going to be a lot to do with all the desert ghosts for us. This brings us to our last one, which just shed. Look at that. Fresh. Fresh. Oh, we believe this to be based on pairing. I have to go back and look at exactly what the pairing was because there could be stuff hiding in it, but I don't think so. Just a super Mojave. Could have some kicker in it. There's a lot of yellow in it, so maybe. Oh, why are you all turd buckets today? And if you don't know how to read a snake, when you see that position, we're getting a little bit on the defensive nature, so we can simply just show it a hand, change its direction, and they're not so bright that they'll kind of forget about me and move on. Sometimes they'll still tag you, but not usually. So, Super Mojave for sure, which means anything we breed this to is going to pass on Mojave. So if we're wanting to ensure GHI Mojaves, wanting to ensure those things, that is why we kept it. We also kept it just so we can show people the comparison between Super Mojave and a true Super Lesser and how different they look. Yeah, this is kind of an off-white, I would almost call it a smoker's white snake because it's got this yellow kind of in there. You can kind of see it's not truly a white, and then you have the gray head. Or when you have a bell that is pretty fresh, like my girl here. They're both bells. I shouldn't say a bell, but a Super Lesser. I mean, that's an obvious difference, guys. There's no comparison in those two animals, right? None at all. And now I see you again. I don't know why you're being that way. Be nice like my bell here. Now watch, this will be the one that tags me today. So let me put this one back up first. All right, Kurt, that is the 4 snakes. Whoop, wrong bell. That is the 4 snakes we intended to show today on this video. You want to get in there? There you go. Anything you want to add before I put this one back up?
I just think this one's got better over time.
Really? So this is one you really like?
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you prefer, because again, and this is something that's really interesting to me when we talk snakes, because I always say my opinion, and some of you are probably thinking, God, you're an idiot. But, you know, I had an English teacher, I think it was, that used to say, well, I'm going to give you the adult version of what she used to say. She used to dumb it down for us because we were kids. That's opinions like assholes. Everybody has one. They all stink. And what the meaning of that is, really? Really? Let's not be that way. There you go. There you go. Good boy. What I'm getting at is, you know, in my opinion, I would look at this versus the bell I showed you, and to me, it's a night and day difference. I would take the Super Lesser every day of the week. I think it's a prettier snake. I like them better. But here I'm hearing Kurt say, hey, I really like this. So which one do you prefer?
I still like the bell, but when this first came out, I just didn't like it, but it's grown on me, and I think it's one of the better looking snakes of that year that we got.
Really?
Yep.
See, and it's a good looking animal, and we kept it for a purpose. But I guess the point I'm making is some of you may prefer Super Mojave over Super Lesser or a Mojave Lesser or whatever. And the point I want to make is that's okay. We're all allowed to have different things that we truly like and that we think is the best. Just because I prefer one thing doesn't mean I expect everybody else to prefer it. I, for one, unlike some people in this world, believe it is okay for multiple opinions to exist and people to like different things. We don't all have to be a, lockstep soldiers marching in line. All right, Crane, you want to add before we go?
No.
All right, let's see if I can put this one back without taking the tag because it really wants to have a go at me. Don't you? So we'll show you tricks. So if you got one wants to have a go at you, just use your hand. You can show it that hand. You can outsmart it and work around. Then you just come with this hand. See? It's focusing here, and we can just come right around and just ball it up. Just kind of try to keep working it. Now when it's like this, it can still come out and tag. You really want it to get into a full ball. And you can kind of do that by giving it a nice, tight place to be in. I'm not forcing it. It's actually going to feel more comfortable, tightly hidden. And now look, I have a ball python again. So just a few things you can do to avoid being bit. Should you get bit, it's no big deal. But snakes can break teeth. So the idea of, I just take the bite because I'm a man or whatever, that's not a practice I personally agree with. Look at this new table. Shit's all organized. The reason I don't agree with it is because, like I said, you can get a broken tooth, which can cause an infection in the mouth. You run some minor risk that there's really no point in taking. So if you can prevent it from biting you, you're happier, it's happier, it's just a better way to go. That being said, bites happen. All right, if that's all we got, I'm going to hop off here, and I will see you next time.